Hello, hello. Welcome to A Mind Elevation with Shavariel. That's me, where we discuss ways to think better, be better, do better, and also expect those around us. Well, not expect, but encourage those around us to be better also. So it's always about improving into a betterment of life and also treating ourselves better and elevating our minds to more powerful, more self advancing in knowledge and understanding kind of topics. So let's get right into it. May you all have a wonderful Saturday. And so it's been going good for me thus far. There were a few hiccups earlier here, but what can I say? The message must go through. So let's see. It feels like we are in a space right now where it's too many of us following the advice of other unhealthy people on podcasts or on shows online. And what do I mean by that? Anytime somebody has to bring up that, particularly men on a podcast want women to know and understand is ... And what they're spewing or what they're expressing is very toxic, and it's not good. Anytime you have to have a personal conversation with someone, the person being receptive to the information that this other person is telling them is not expecting to hear, well, people on a podcast is talking about this, and here's what you modern women need to know. And a person is going to go, excuse me, particularly a woman. Because when I talk to those around me, I don't ever have the need to say, so and so on a podcast is saying this, and here is what you business partners have to understand. I've never heard that in my being, my experience of living. I've never heard of that before. It's like having a conversation or a disagreement with your brother or your sister or your cousin. You're not going to say, so-and-so has this podcast on family dysfunction. Here's what you cousins, here's what you aunties, here's what you uncles have to understand. It's so disrespectful. And the reason why I'm sharing this with you is because things have been taken too far as the unhealthy voices on these podcasts and shows online, on YouTube, and whatever other channel that they're on. So I had a guy tell me, quote unquote, that's what listening to these podcasts, and here's what we want you women to understand. You modern women, ... And I was highly offended because when I talk to a person, an interaction of a person, I don't bring up anything that I've seen on a podcast unless I'm making an example of that podcast. But I'm not bringing what the people on the podcast has to say to make it relevant in the conversation between me and that person. Those people don't know us. Now, a person could say, a person could twist that in any way that they can. I'm not even going to bring it up because then it'll get too deep in layers with that. But who are we today to take the advice, not even take the advice, but just look at to what somebody else is saying on a podcast, and those people don't necessarily understand our stories. Now, you don't have to understand somebody's story to make a message. You can just make a message. The dangerous thing about this is that twisted people, wicked people, unclean people, unstable people, unhealthy people are looking at podcasts in all their hurtness, in all of their trauma, in their place of pain, in their place of misery. They are looking at these podcasts to not to have an understanding. These people, these unhealthy people are looking at these podcasts to get a amen to their brokenness, to get an amen to their unhealthy behavior, to get an amen on lying to people, to get an amen on being okay with adultery, to get an amen on beating a person, whether it's their partner or their pet or whatever it is it may be. They're looking to these people with certain podcasts to get an amen to their inappropriate behavior. And it is going to be so important if you have a podcast, if you have a show, we have to make sure we are putting out good messages. Whether we have a large following or not, somebody is going to hear us and take that what we said and apply it in their life some type of way. And if we are not doing that, if we are coming from a place of criticism, if we are coming from a place of condemning in the message, that will hinder the person who is looking for advice to be better and to be effective in providing a peaceful resolution to whatever problem they are seeking. I have never had a person tell me that a group of people was on a podcast talking about women. Sounds like men, some men, talking about women. Here's what we women need to understand, as if that person knows the person that I was talking to, and no, they don't. Every situation is different, and every message is not for the masses, is what I'm saying. So where is this gotten us? It's becoming toxic. And if you are looking to, it's okay to look for help in a healthy way, but to look for help just to mask or condone your unhealthy behavior is not good. I don't think people understand how dangerous this has gotten with people's podcasts and shows. And if the people with these podcasts and shows that are spewing these unhealthy messages, they understand, because you're talking about grown adults. So they understand the gravity of what they're saying. They just may not care. And do we all have to be accountable for what we say and for what we do. But even the Bible tells us, do not be a hindrance to your brethren. Okay? So what is it that I'm saying to you? If you're looking on a podcast to help you with a situation, okay, I would say not necessarily a podcast. Seek those who are close to you first, who know you and who may know about the situation. If those people in your circle are not helpful or not supportive, you know what I recommend? Go and seek professional therapy, a professional mentor, a professional life coach, one that has a license to say that what they're doing to give you advice is is insured, so that you can be a better person. Because if it is not insured for you to be a better person, that person becomes liable legally. Okay, what can I say? I had never had that said before in a conversation, to say that, look, in order for me to converse with you, to speak to you, here's what I heard on this podcast that you women have to understand. We women, when have we ever been spoken to like we women? That's an issue. And to an insecure mind, to an unstable mind, to a dark heart, to a wicked person, they could look online to be condoned of and excused of their behaviors by what they hear. So what I'm saying is, to those with podcasts, just make sure that you are sending a good message. If it is a message where it is critiquing or giving your experience, make sure you refer it to your experience and not just saying it just to give advice. Because again, everybody's situation is different. And you, as the person in charge or as the host of that podcast, you may be speaking out of hurt. Instead of giving your testimony to say, look, this is what happened to me. Don't go this way though. You take a better route, because going this route is not going to help you. I've already experienced it. Here's the route and the tips and the tools that you need to look forward to be better, to do better. But if a person on a podcast that has their own podcast gets on to say, particularly to women, that women should do this and this and this, and that they should understand this and this and this about a man. Well, brother, how is your life privately that you could give such advice and guidance? Okay? Are you respectable to women already? Do you beat women? Do you have hidden motives? Are you saying this out of revenge because maybe a woman rejected you and you feel like that was enough to give you steam to then give other men ammunition to go and hurt other women, because the one woman that rejected you turned you into a machine to then go and copy and make duplicates of yourself into other people. So then maybe that one person who rejected you, you could then send and be a tool. You could send people to be tools, or you can be the tool directly to hurt others because of that one rejection or those few rejections that you got. What can I say? Except for be careful what you watch. Be careful. Be mindful of what you watch. You got to be more mindful of your ears. So I give that to you. May you have a wonderful day.